Hey, all, Dr. Adam here. And at Chiropractic First, we're always going to hold chiropractic in the center, but we're always, going to help add in the different benefits of human optimization and performance. So today, I did want to talk about the differences and the positive benefits of cold exposure, and then on the exact opposite end, heat exposure. So, we'll just dive right in. There are many benefits to challenging your body. Of course, hormesis is a term that's used when anytime you put a negative stressor on your body, the result is your body adapting to overcome, repair, and rebuild. So, with cold exposure, a cold shower in the morning or an ice bath can elevate levels of the catecholamines, which are epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine, for 4 to 6 hours after the exposure at a rate of 2 to 3 times higher than what that would be normally. Now, there are no other forms of exercise or drugs or anything that can elevate dopamine levels for this long, as well as a slow, gradual decrease to get back to baseline. So there is no crash. I mean, there are certain recreational drugs that crank it way up, but then followed by a dip where you're actually lower dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine production compared to what your body would just do naturally. So I'm a huge proponent of taking a cold shower. I do it every morning, which helps me to get that elevated dopamine, catecholamine production throughout the day. Um, you know, this is one negative to cold exposure or a cold, cold shower, cold tub would be to blunt the hormetic effect because it reduces inflammation. Now, there are some times where, yes, inflammation is bad and you do want to reduce it, but there are times where inflammation is positive. For example, I just heard Dr. Jake explaining with his shockwave therapy that he's using. You don't want to necessarily put ice on that because that would reduce the inflammatory response. Your body, creates inflammation to help it to heal. You wouldn't want to do a cold tub directly after a hypertrophy exercise, so a strength exercise where you're trying to increase muscle mass, because that can again blunt the hormetic effect. So you should wait 4 to 6 hours after a weightlifting session. It can be done after cardio, though. Dr. Susanna Soberg is a doctor who's been studying this with humans over in the Netherlands. And she has been working to try and quantify how much exposure per week do you need to get the positive benefits. So we talked about the effect of cold exposure can also increase the amount of brown fat that your body has. Brown fat has 10 to 1 the amount of mitochondria that white fat is. It's more metabolically active. If you think about brown fat, you can draw the analogy of like oil in the candle. What is going to give you fuel to burn, to be able to heat your body up? So by exposing yourself to cold, your internal temperature is going to be regulated at the level of the hypothalamus, deep into the brain, of being able to increase your body temperature naturally by burning fat. So she came up with Dr. Soberg protocols, and so that 11 minutes of cold exposure per week is shown to start to have positive benefits. Yes, you can go over that to get even more benefits if that's what you're needing. So 11 minutes of cold exposure per week, and that can be a 2-minute cold shower every day and one ice bath. Now, she also quantified that between 45 minutes to an hour of sauna per week also start to have benefits. As we talk, cold can increase your metabolism, can give you that boost in dopamine. The sauna is actually going to help to improve sweating. So sweating is something that can be improved, just like anything else. The more you practice, the better you get. And improved sweating, you get heat shock proteins, exposing your body to elements so that, again, it can adapt and overcome. If you think about, and I know Dr. Jared talked about this in the sleep seminar, why you don't want to exercise right before bed is because your body temperature is elevated, your core body temperature elevated. um, that negates sleep, because at night when you sleep, your body temperature lowers, and we're talking core body temperature. So one thing that can be helpful and beneficial is to go to the sauna in the evening time, because by heating up the outer surface of your skin, that actually triggers your hypothalamus again to lower your core body temperature. So getting in the sauna helps to regulate your body temperature as far as lowering your core body temperature. That doesn't, that kind of seems counterintuitive, but when you get into cold, your body heats up from the core. And when you get into hot, your body works on cooling down. So getting into the sauna an hour or two before bed can, or even sooner, can help your body to, initially you're going to be sweating a lot, yes, but your body is working on decreasing your core body temperature. If your body didn't naturally do this, sitting in a 200-degree sauna, you would become hyperthermic. So that is, one thing that is really cool, that your body innately knows exactly what to do. Cold and heat exposure also allows for cardiovascular benefits on both ends. If you think about your arteries and veins, you need them to be pliable and to be able to flex and bend back and forth and undergo pressure. When we think of arteries and veins, yes, they are tubes, but they are a highway of tubes with interconnected cells. So think of it more as like mesh connecting in. They need to be able to expand and contract so that your body can adapt to the changes around them and become more adaptable. So there's a little bit on cold and heat exposure. In the Midwest, we get some of this naturally, but I think that actively practicing with set numbers per week can always help to improve your body's ability to stay happy, healthy,